it's very nice to meet you. Welcome to Germany.
Oh, thank you so much.
First question, as far as I know, you and Finn Balor have been together on the road to WWE for quite a while. How does it feel that you reached more or less the top together and you're together at the WWE?
Yeah, it's a little surreal because I remember going into this tiny little school hall when I was 15 years old, and seeing Finn, and he had that big smiley head on him, and he was so welcoming, and I had no dreams or aspirations to actually be a WWE superstar. For me, it was so far beyond the realm of possibility that I couldn't even fathom it. And that but Finn always knew that this was what he was going to do, and you could feel that, and everybody knew that he had this charisma and this ability that was unlike. It wasn't standard. He wasn't just going to be wrestling in a school hall in Bray for the rest of his life. He was going to do big things, but piece by piece, and I was not a good athlete at all. He really helped me step up, and he never treated me any different to any of the guys. And I just remember telling him, I remember actually being in tears, being like, I just want to be able to wrestle like the guys. And he was like, well, that's what I've been trying to get you to do. I remember him like kind of being a little bit annoyed about it, because he never treated me any different. And because of that, like I always had to step up, you know. And the fact that even though our paths went like all over the place, that we were both in the company at the same time, and then he got to be the first ever Universal champ, and then I got to be the first ever SmackDown Women's champ, and that was all within a month. It's surreal. It's surreal.
You just mentioned the WWE Universal Championship. Of course, it was incredibly sad what happened.
Yes.
We talked about it just moments ago. Did you have the possibility to talk with him when it happened? And how did he feel about it? I mean, it was far beyond words.
Of course, yeah. But Finn has just an incredible mindset, and he's so strong-minded that he's like, yeah, but I was the first ever, and I finished the match, and then came out the next day smiling, and he always looks to the future, and always sees the positives in everything, and I'm sure it gets him down, but he'll never show it.
Okay. One last question. Women's wrestling has probably never been as big and important as it is right now. What do you tell people who don't really think that women's wrestling should be equally important as men's wrestling?
I'd probably just tell them to shut up. No, but like I think that's the most ignorant point of view that you could possibly have, because what does gender matter when there's a storyline and a character that people are invested in, and there's matches that are undeniably as good as the men, then gender just doesn't come into play, and that's the point that I wanted to get to. Not that it's, there's a women's revolution and that's why women are main eventing and this, that, and whatever. No, it's because we're good, and because we have characters that people care about, and we understand psychology, so we can get people invested in the matches. Now, if we weren't putting on good matches and we couldn't have storylines that people were invested in, then of course, say what you want to say. But we're doing the exact opposite. So they go out, they give us these opportunities, they give us the ball, and we run with it, and we hit a home run every time. And I think most of the time the women's segments are the highest rated on TV. And that's just a testament to the women's division that we have, and also to our writers and the team, and the fact that people want something different, right? But again, it's not about gender, it's about characters and storylines. And for me, when I was younger, I always wanted to watch the women, because that's who I can relate to. You know what I mean? So if we're excluding 50% of the population, what are we doing? You know, it needs to be all inclusive, and it needs to just be gender neutral, just matches and storylines.
So you say you should care about the abilities and everything, and not really about the gender.
Yeah, it's 2018. Why are we talking about gender? We shouldn't be. It should just all be, it should be what's good and what storylines are good and what characters are good. It should all just be good, right? And entertaining. Thank you. It is 2018, isn't it? Yeah, sometimes I have to think about that.
Well, it's, to be honest, it's 2018, right?
Yeah, it's 2018. Sometimes I go, is it 2017? Are we in 2019 yet? What's going on?
Before I ask you the question, I just want to show you a video of you I found on Twitter. And I think this was the most beautiful high five I've ever seen it.
Oh, brilliant.
You can watch it. Do you still remember the situation, how this happened?
I remember all the guys were like, they were high-fiving about something, and like I was like, yeah, and then just nobody picked up on it. And you gotta save yourself somehow. High-five yourself.
You made a list with the baddest high fives in history.
Oh yes.
This was the most liked one.
Oh really? Awesome. Okay, sweet.
But it was just a fun question about that. We're talking about women and women revolution, and you say it's 2018, and we don't need to talk about this anymore. I don't want to talk about Saudi Arabia because she comes down with an accent and hits into my head. But I just want to know why isn't there a women's tag team title in WWE?
I don't know. I've been pushing for it for at least a year now.
Okay.
So hopefully that will be. I think the problem was that they didn't have the numbers. So we didn't have enough numbers to have a women's tag team division and a women's singles division and champion. So at one stage I think we had like 6 girls on each brand. And if you have 6 girls on each brand, what are you going to do? Have 2 people fighting for the title and then the other 2 people fighting for the tag titles? It would kind of be hard to do. So my pitch was that they would be able to shift between different brands and even NXT and then the Mae Young Classic. But I think now, because we're getting so many more women, like even just in the past month, we've seen the Iconics come up, and we've seen Ember Moon, and then obviously Ronda is freshly up there, and then Absolution and the Riot Squad. So we've got so many more women. So I think we're on the cusp. We have to be on the cusp.
We talked about this 1 year ago, but you said one big goal is to headline WrestleMania. Is there another goal you see for all the women in WWE?
For me, so yes, I'm still working on that main event spot for WrestleMania. For me, it's just going to be consistency. You know, I want to see consistent storylines, consistently great matches. And then just more main event spots on different pay-per-views, more main event spots on SmackDown and Raw, and that's all happening now. So that's pretty great. We're main eventing more and more.
Thank you very much.
And then maybe a TLC match. That would be pretty great. Yeah. First ever TLC match. I would like to be in that. Yeah.
Okay, I note that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Only one question. In few weeks you're fighting for Money in the Bank case. What are your chances? Are you going to win, or what is your? How do you?
So I don't know if you watched last year's Money in the Bank, but twice, not once, but twice, I almost had it. And if it wasn't for James Ellsworth, I would have been Miss Money in the Bank, the first ever Miss Money in the Bank. So I think my chances are pretty high. Also because I've been in that match, not once, but twice, and nearly won it. Not once, but twice. So third time's the charm, right? Right? It's got to be. So, okay, so we've got Charlotte. Charlotte's been in 2 Money in the Bank matches. Who else do we have? Alexa Bliss, never been in a Money in the Bank match. We've got Ember Moon, never been in a Money in the Bank match. Who else do we have? We don't know yet, do we? We'll find out more, won't we? Tomorrow and then on the following day on Tuesday, we'll find out who else is going to be in the match. But I like my chances. 3 times the charm.
Is it sometimes hard for you to care about the things you can say publicly, which you perhaps know, somehow?
Oh, I walk around cutting promos in my head all day long.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay. Any more questions? Or are we
Time's up.
done?
I have one question. How long will you still be joining with WWE?
Ooh, I don't know. Good question. I would say there's a good 5 to 6 years left in me. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
is it then finished, or you will try again, or?
So it's so hard because I've left wrestling once before, and it was really hard, because it's this thing that you love so much, and there's absolutely nothing like it. And I tried acting and theater and everything like that, and as much as I love that, there's something about just that live adrenaline and the instant reaction from the crowd. You don't get that in any other thing. Maybe stand-up comedy. But I don't think I'd be a stand-up comedian. I think that must be really hard.
Can
Of-
we training with some
Let me think of a joke. Okay. What did the lawyer call his daughter? Sue. No, sorry, that was terrible. No. So yeah, I think in some way or form I'll always be in entertainment because I love communicating and telling stories, and that's what WWE is all about.
Now I'm curious, to be honest. If you talk about ending your career at the WWE, if you think about someone like Paige, who
Yes.
had to end it, period.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really like a possibility for you to feel like that? Because you saw Paige was not really happy about ending her career.
No, and of course not. I think what's so great about Paige though is she's so young. She's already accomplished so much that she can't look back and have any regrets, and she's still involved, and she still gets to go out there and have that love, and she's got movies coming out, and she's got her own shop, and she's really been smart about her brand. So I think when you leave without any regrets, I think you're in a much better position. So that ideally is where I would like to be. Obviously, it's a whole different story when you get to be able to choose and walk away from it. But I think Paige should be so unbelievably proud of everything she's done, especially at such a young age. For me, I've already been away from it for 7 years, and when I walked away, I went into a depression, to be quite honest, because it was this thing that I loved, and all of a sudden I didn't have it, and then I lost my identity because I was Rebecca the wrestler, and then I wasn't the wrestler anymore. So who was Rebecca, and so often like you identify yourself with what you're doing. I think over the years I've learned that there's so much more to me than just wrestling. But of course it's always going to be hard to walk away from. Because it's just a spectacular sport, unlike anything else.
Yeah, you can tell Paige that we are very proud of her ethos.
Yes, I will do.
Okay.
And what you said, was going to depression and fighting through it, and now you're back. Are you more stronger than before, or is it kind of,
Yeah, to be honest with you, I feel probably stronger than I ever have before, because sometimes it is that it's kind of going down that dark hole and then fighting your way through it and persevering and coming out the other end and finding out a lot about yourself and trying out different things, and then also learning that to have faith in timing and the way that things worked out. Because if I'd stayed doing wrestling and everything like that, I wouldn't be in the position that I am now, and I wouldn't have come up with the 4 horsewomen, and we wouldn't have done all the things that we would have done. And who knows, maybe I would have wrestled for 5 more years somewhere else, and it just wouldn't have aligned. But luckily I was able to go off and get a degree in acting and work as a flight attendant and just get all this different life experience, so that I could know what it was like to be without it, and then appreciate it so much more when I got here. And I don't think there's a single day that I'm not grateful for everything that I have. And if that's all that it teaches you, well, then that's plenty.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For having you here.
Thank you, guys.
And looking forward to see you tonight at the show.
I'm excited. Cheers, lads.
Could you
Thanks for
give
the
me
good
just
question.
one favor and sign my
Oh,
encyclopedia?
100%.
Oh, the biggest.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Nice to saw. Oh yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
Ist ja eine Whisky.
Alles klar.
Ich war so überrascht, ich bin aufgestanden, ich Idiot, ohne Witz.
Jetzt kommen wir.
Oh, sie ist da.